I ordered the Squidmar's airbrush from Harder&Steenbeck to see if the YouTube channel that tests scams from all around the world sells scams or good products. Let's find out! In the presentation video, he said that it could be as good as the Iwata Micron, which cost $700. For a $300 airbrush, it's a good thing if it's true. As you might know, if you've seen this video, I have the Iwata Micron. So let's find out if the Infinity 2024 is as good as its promise. First of all, I've bought the Squidmar version of the Infinity for 3 main reasons. First, it's way more beautiful than the regular one. 2. I love Squidmar's content and I think that buying some stuff they made in collaboration is a good thing to support them. And third, it's actually cheaper than the regular one. In fact, this part of the airbrush is an air pressure controller. It's a piece that you have to buy separately and it costs more than $50. I bought it for my old Infinity version. So I've tested this airbrush on 3 miniatures to see what it can do. I've painted this Usheran and these 2 apothecaries. You can find the painting of these minis in their videos on this channel. Subscribe! With these 3 minis, I was able to test the airbrush for base coating, highlighting and precisions and also try it with metal colors. And it worked very well. So the most important, I think, with an airbrush is the feeling in the hand, more than the precision itself, even if it's really important. I already have 2 H&S airbrushes in addition to this one and the feeling was already really good. Especially on the Ultra 2024 and, in my opinion, less good with the Infinity. When I compared the old Infinity and the Iwata Custom Micron, there was no comparison. The Iwata was better in every aspect for me, and even more in the feeling aspect. But I changed my mind for the Infinity 2024. H&S made this airbrush really well in terms of feeling. Honestly, it's a pleasure to use. I completely love the whole process. The most improvement for me is the trigger. It's way better than the older version. In the older version there was a dead point, I don't know if it's the right name, where the trigger moved without any consequences on the needle. So it was moving for nothing. I didn't like that at all. In comparison, the Iwata Micron has no dead zone. If you pull the trigger, it pulls the needle instantly. And now it's exactly the same with the 2024 version of the Infinity. So that's a big improvement in my opinion. Second, the trigger itself is really pleasant to have under your finger. There are 2 zones, one very large for using normally, and at the top, a perfect zone for precision when you are in hard mode. I love the 2 different grips, each perfect for the use it was made for. They also changed the screw access. It's larger and easier to unscrew and pull the needle. And another big improvement is that the airbrush is longer in the rear, so you can grab it like a pencil more easily and it feels more stable. And finally, but it's maybe just for the Squidmar edition, their pressure wheel is more smooth than the old one. So that's everything I had to say about the feeling. We can move to the precision skills of the airbrush. The needle size is bigger than the previous Infinity, but it's as precise as the old version. The needle is a 0.25mm instead of a 0.15mm, but I didn't see any big difference. You can see that I can be really precise on the Space Marines with the Ultra, which has a 0.4mm needle. So I guess it's more question of airbrushing skills than the needle size. But I made some little lines on a paper to see the precision and it's really good. In fact, you won't need that precision level often with your airbrush for miniature painting, unless you're using the airbrush blending technique, which is a technique for blending paintbrushes with an airbrush. If you want to see a master applying this technique, check out Sergio Calvo's channel. He uses it every time and he does that really well. In terms of precision, I was able to make all the skin blend on Usheron's body, with multiple layers of acrylic paint from the 2 thin coats range. That I'm going to review on this channel too. Subscribe! I also mixed paint together directly in the cup and it works perfectly, like with every other airbrush. The bottom of the cup is still wide enough to have a good access for the brush. And I also use shade directly in the airbrush to darken the skin. Also really precise. I also tried the precision of the airbrush on Usheron's cloak and also had a great result. I was able to make some cool highlights where I wanted to. Same for shading and other stuff. I tried the metals just on one shoulder, but that was really conclusive. The airbrush worked well and didn't clog. Obviously, it has clogged a few times, like every other airbrush, but not too much. Not less either, just the usual amount of clogging. Speaking of clog, when you clean it, it's the same experience as with every other H&S airbrushes. It's really easy to clean and reassemble it. The needle and the nozzle are now made in titanium, which should give you extra durability of life for your airbrush. Honestly, I've had my old Infinity for 2 years and used it a lot, and never needed to change the needle or nozzle. So I guess it's better, but only time will say. But in practice, you won't notice the difference between the old and the new versions, except that the shape of the nozzle has changed. I trust them for that. If they say that it's an important new feature, I believe them because as for now, they never disappointed me. To end with the precision skills, I tried to airbrush every skin details on the fur of Usheron. Each details are human size compared to Usheron who's big. So I think it was a good enough try for the precision. With not so much surprise, it did very good. So that's it for the major parts. I guess that there are also some cool new things or improvements, but not that important. For example, the screw for the needle in the back is profiled to be easier to reinsert the needle in, just like the Ultra. There is also a new head that is for sure inspired by the Angel Giralda's version of the Infinity, which could be cool if you want to use it. There is also a new cup size that I have on right now. I prefer the small size for precision airbrushes. After all, I use the Ultra for base coats. And if you wonder if the screw size of the cup is the same as the old version, yes, it is. You can screw in your old cup. If, like me, you have the cut-off paint special cup, it works on it. So, to conclude, yes, I think that the airbrush could really handle the comparison with the Iwata custom Micron. Maybe the Micron could be a little bit better in precision at a high level of painting thanks to its 0.18mm needle. But honestly, if I put the price in the balance, I highly recommend you to buy the Infinity 2024 and not wait to save money to buy the Micron later. So, just like Squidmar gives a grade at the end, here's mine. I grade this cam a 0.5 just because it's a limited edition. Maybe in the future I'll buy the equivalent price in the Iwata range to compare it. If you want me to do that, I'll buy it instantly if this video gets 1000 likes. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, bye!